life. He hates you. Okay then, I'm getting better because he doesn't like that at all. Oh, ain't that something? That's kind of good. It's kind of not, because I mean, one of the things I don't, well, in friend groups sometimes you have people who are pretty evenly matched, and all of a sudden they watch my awesome videos. They learn what not to do from my gameplay, and then they apply it to their own gameplays, and then it actually somehow makes them better. So. Yeah, so let me just ban that guy. Actually, nah, whatever. I have to change it to his stream, or will you stream it too? I'm gonna, okay, so this is the idea. He's gonna turn on his stream so that we can watch what he's doing. I'm going to pull up his stream so that you guys can see it on my side, and then I'm going to commentate over what I see. So that's how it works.
It is on, by the way.
So, yeah, okay, sweet, thanks. This is what happens when viewer count is too high. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Some of the streamers encourage spam and simply end up ignoring chat entirely. Could mod a few Muppets. Okay, so that's the thing. I don't trust any single one of you, period. I'm going to say that straight up, and I don't give a shit. This is my stream. This mod power is mine! And none of you. And I will share it with none of you. Yes. Alright, so I'm going to pull up Dave's stream. No trust. Yes, thank you, Attorney. And besides, the thing is, I would like to think that I do an okay job answering as many comments from people as possible. And besides, I have my YouTube channel, and I reply to my comments and messages there, so that's always a thing. Okay, I'll be right back. I just need to go grab something quickly, and then I will be ready to get started. Just give me like a minute. Sorry.
Grabbing some chocolates.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kicper to dupa.
Oh man, the spam is real.
And funny enough, there is a mod right there. Okay, so as always, guys, the way it works, if you have any questions, feel free to ask it on my, yeah, feel free to ask it on my stream. Please, guys, for goodness sake, for the people who actually have stuff that they want to ask, please don't spam. Okay, here we go. I am going to full screen this. And if all goes well, I would assume you guys should be able to see the, frick, 1 sec. Oh gosh, you guys asking Sesame for nudes.
Onager is asking for a ban.
Okay, so this is where we're at. Just so you guys can see. Oh, let's just mute that there. Okay, so like I was saying, this is kind of where we are in the match, as you can see on Dave's side. This is Dave's stream. Don't quite know how to get rid of this thing at the top. It's been annoying, but anyway. So the idea here is that it is 1, 2, 3. Dave has just broken into the desert. We have I think it was Tazar, right? Tazar's your main?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we have Tazar here. He's pretty high level. He's got some great stats. He's got some Wyvern Monarchs, I think. Yeah, they got upgraded. And yeah, now we're going to see what Dave decides to do as he explores the desert. Once again, things make them... Yeah, so as you can see here, Tazar, armor, tactics, logistics, pathfinding, water, magic. He hasn't been offered air or earth yet, keep this in mind. But he does have expert armor, and he does have armor specialty. The other last... the last thing... He also has mighty words. Huh? What?
So many capitals flying on the right.
I don't... Yeah, I see it. I don't know how this bits crap work. Oh, there's a Ellie giggle, I think. No, I don't know which one that is. Forehead? No. Yeah, which emote is that? The one that's beside the kappas.
It's forehead, yeah.
Okay, it's forehead. Got it. But yeah. what is it I was trying to say? I forget now. Anyway, I guess. Oh yeah, if you guys want to actually see the prelude of this match, watch the end of my last stream. But otherwise, yeah, Dave, you can get started. Thanks for your patience.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this needs to be said because I don't think Dave's reading his chat. His luck is 12 out of 10.
Yeah, it's I changed it a bit.
All right, have fun.
Sweet, thanks. All right.
Okay, so
Wait, actually, sorry. Did you start your turn?
no, I just loaded the save file.
Okay. Wait. One last thing. I need to actually change the title. Totally forgot about that. Let's see. So yeah, what's the first question? Why? Oh, freaking questions about the gameplay, not freaking questions about Dave coaching MeKick and plebs. I think that's a good title.
No clickbait.
Please upload the YouTube when it ends. No promises on that one.
I tried to upload on my side, but I don't know how it will go. I need to save the VOD too.
I see. Alright, when you're ready. Oh, I picked Azar when you can pick Craghack instead. Sweet, thanks, Onager. But yeah, once again, I'm going to try to commentate over Dave's match. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I am going to try to read chat on the side. So, yeah, anytime you're ready, go for it.
Okay, so I didn't completely finish my turn when I saved. We just kind of wanted to wrap it up fast.
Oh,
and
I see.
We just went over the breaking point. But I still want to do some stuff like check the artifact merchants in the tower. And buy another hero. And use my movement on Monarch. So I'll just do that. Nice green done hero. Though he won't be really useful now.
Sorry, what's not going to be useful?
I got the green done in the tavern.
Ah, yes. So, do you have any use for Grindon in this?
I might. In later phases, it's good to have scout heroes with expert earth.
So, if you do decide to get Grindon, are you going to buy him out in the desert, or are you going to try to buff him up here?
Probably in the desert, because there's not so much left to do in my area.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so what else do you have planned for your turn then? So
I'm checking the arcans and not really good one, I'd say.
Did you get a... Do you have a better weapon on Tazar?
I have +2 attack defense.
Oh, okay, I see.
So it's not worth spending 16k for this ogre club. And the rest is garbage. Anyway, it's always a good idea to check the artifact merchants because you share it with your opponent and you can steal some crucial artifacts like Roots of Speed or something like that. I don't know if you knew that, by the way.
Sorry, that what?
You share your artifact merchants with your opponent.
Oh, yeah. You share artifact merchant with your opponent, yes. I am aware of that. So red does get a bit of an advantage on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. One last thing. Actually, I don't think I need to show this just yet. Or I don't think I need to show this part. I just want to quickly see if I can turn down Dave. Because apparently... Apparently, Rams is saying that I have you turned up a little too high. I'm gonna try to adjust the volume, but I don't quite think that'll do much, to be honest. Okay, there we go. Back to it. Yes. Okay, so yes, he is moving Monair. Monair was one of his scout heroes, just moving him in this direction, trying to explore what's here. There is a dwarven treasury. He's checking how much, I think, or he was checking how much there were. Now, in this...
I plan on retreating him in the desert if I can find a town, because it's nice, the gist.
Okay, so yeah, he's using Monair, or he's using this dwarven treasury as a place to Poor Man's Town portal. Note that he hasn't retreated Monair yet. Probably the reason for this is that by keeping the serpent fly on the dwarven treasury, or on Monair as he's on the dwarven treasury, he'll start off next turn with 1900 movement, as opposed to the 17, I think, 100 or so, or 1760 that he'd have if he waited for, or if he just retreated him now. Because, yeah, your speed is determined by the slowest unit, so he chose to leave the serpent fly to get more movement. But you might also wonder, why didn't he do this with Tazar? Now, yeah, as you can see, Tazar has an army of Wyvern Monarchs, but he also has a stack of about 20 Mighty Gorgons, which are kind of useful. 1 for clearing out Dragon Utopias, 2 is meat, and also 3 because, well, they are a stack that's a high-level unit, right? So that's always relatively useful. So the reason for this, I would imagine, is that with Dave being in the desert, he probably doesn't, like, if there were a real player, a real human opponent on the other side, he doesn't want to move his army back onto a side hero. Like, he doesn't want to just leave Wyvern Monarchs. He needs his full army in case his opponent decides to show up, like, ready to duke it out or some shit. So, yeah. As a result, Dave is going with his full army as opposed to just splitting it up and going with Wyvern Monarchs on one hero and Mighty Gorgons on the other. Yeah, so here's a comment from Fitting Researcher that I think you'll like, Dave. MK being so serious, this is obviously a troll gameplay, otherwise he would have reached 116 like every other pro.
Yeah,
oh, man.
True troll comment.
116 breaks are super common, absolutely. Where's the 111 start? We don't start at 1, 2, 3. Yes, we do in this case. Masters and Heroes 3, absolutely.
I think I see a town, but I'm not sure. You have to check.
Okay, so yeah, it appears that there is no town. And this is the thing. When you're in the desert, it's nice to actually have. It's actually nice to have a town. Like, it gives you a lot of options, especially if it's like, let's say, a tower town, for example. You can even build like a lookout tower, and you get a good view of what's in the middle. Oh, and would you look at that? He sent his scout hero up ahead, Braun in this case. By doing this, he can actually see, or he actually saw that indeed there is an Inferno town just southwest of this area. Now, it's an Inferno town. It's not a big deal. Once again, it's not a question of what type of town the middle is in the middle. Sometimes it does matter. I mean, if it's like a castle, then you can go for like stables or some shit. But
what matters is that you can buy a tavern and use some more heroes and split up your mana.
Yeah, exactly. So having like a town in the desert is kind of like having a I guess a base in the middle of the desert. You know, like you can give your guys food. You can anyway. Long story short, yeah, you can build a mage guild. You can build a tavern. The tavern allows you to scout more in the desert area. The mage guild would allow Tazar to refill his mana because right now he's got 12 mana. Probably not the best amount of mana to have if he ever does, worst case scenario, find his opponent really early on. But if he does heal it up with a mage guild, then he'll be a-okay for probably at least the next 2-3 turns. And by the way, especially in Jebus, 2 to 3 turns is very, very crucial. If it were like, okay, so yeah, obviously turns are crucial. Like I was just playing 2 SM43 with Meridian, and 1 or 2 turns could have made huge differences. But in Jebus especially, like 1 or 2 turns is pretty, or 2 to 3 turns is like pretty big. Like that's the difference between having like 0 whibs and having 30 whibs. just like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the one day could make a huge difference in the desert.
And presumably that's why people actually like playing as red as well, because they want to have that extra half a turn advantage. They want to be able to be the first ones to move to, because if theoretically two people break in the desert at the same time, let's say like week 2, day 3, or month 1, week 2, day 3, then obviously red will get a chance to clean out the desert quicker than blue will. Now, this isn't a map where we can really display this, but if there were like, I don't know, 4 prisons along the way, then like, yeah, Dave really could probably clear out the desert ASAP. That has happened before. I was watching one of Moretti's games, and he had done that in a single turn. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that right now. Okay, anytime. You can keep at it. Yes, Rito, we are playing Warcraft 3. Absolutely.
So my thought process here would be something like this. By 1 to 4, the opponent will probably also break like I did. So I really need to grab this top as soon as possible. But I also need to refill my mana, but I can't do both right now, I think. Because I don't have enough movement. So yeah.
Well, okay, so you said that you want to grab the taupe and refill your mana, right? That's the big issue for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
I'm just verifying. Of course, one possible option for those who are super daring, of course I wouldn't recommend this here, is...
It's with Braun.
Yeah, you could take it with a side hero, or Dave could take it with a side hero, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I need to calculate the movement, because I only have these 3 heroes to work with, unless I find the prison. Because I have to build the mage guild in town, so I can't build a tavern.
Sorry, by the way, just gonna cut you off quickly. Harivald, yeah, you usually don't go mage guild first. Yeah, if you're playing Rampart, you usually want to focus strictly on building up army. Grand Elves first turn and some... Oh, sorry. Elves first turn, you pretty much always, followed by possibly Grand Elves. A lot of the time it's going to be Grand Elves. Then followed by the rest of the army. But yeah, you're not going to go for Mage Guild in your starting town a lot of the time on the first week. You usually get your Mage Guild from one of the towns that you'll presumably encounter a little bit further down the line. So yeah, just want to get that out of there. Yes, cutting Dave, absolutely. Oh, what a horrible person I am. Okay, so yeah, this is apparently what the start, or what this area looks like. So Dave does have a few choices, it looks like. The other question I think that we've got here is, how is Dave, or how are you going to take this Inferno town? You're probably not going to do both in the same turn. You have to choose between the taupe or the town. And
yeah, probably.
I just realized that there was an AA block there, just on the left side of the Inferno town. And that's probably why you didn't send Braun there, because I was thinking, like, okay, why don't you just send Braun to go capture the town, and then send a hero out from the tavern to transfer the army back over to Tazar, and then go push for the taupe, and then retreat on the ancient behemoths. But yeah, anyway. I guess you didn't know.
I actually didn't even see those angels. I think they might be guard for this green, this grass area, but I could be wrong. So the problem is, even if I took the taupe with Ron, he wouldn't make it back to the chain. So I think I have to do it with the Tsar. If I were to calculate the movement, I'd have to make at least 2 diagonal moves on the desert, which is like 400 movement points already. And I only have 690.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you're still in the process of trying to make up your mind as to whether you want to deal with the Dragon Utopia or the Inferno.
Yeah, it's kinda important to have enough mana in the final fight, but then again I don't really have many useful spells. So in a potential final battle I would just be casting Cure against the slow if the enemy casts it.
I see. But yeah, for the record, that's kind of the problem that Dave has right now. He doesn't have any useful artifacts, or well, sorry, not useful artifacts. He doesn't have a useful school of magic as a secondary skill on his main hero, Tazar. Also, TI, you've been here long enough that you know what Kappa means, but Kappa is basically people aren't saying things seriously, more or less, or people are being sarcastic. That's the easiest way to put it. So, interestingly enough, I see that you chose to...
I accidentally defended with my monarch.
Oh. No, that's not where I'm at. I'm surprised you didn't take the 2 Dragonfly losses, that's all. I like how you didn't attack the ancient behemoth with the mighty gorgons. It's just like, you know that the death stare is not going to go off, so you're just like, no, fuck that.
It's not worth the risk it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just find it funny, that's all. Is Thorgrim plus resistance worth considering in any situation, or is he awful? Truth be told, I mean... The scary thing about Thorgrim is, you know, as a resistance specialist, like, you don't actually know if... Oh, wow, the death stare went off. Wow.
That's the shit though. Of course, Red Orb would be optimal to get here, but that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Greed lost of those 2 wyverns. Okay, so first of all, Rito be spewing out bullshit again. Second of all, Dave didn't lose 2 wyverns, so I don't know what you're talking about. Even at that, like, okay, he clears out a taupe, and I'm gonna assume you're trolling with that statement, Rito. I'm just gonna ignore you on this one. Like, I'm assuming you're kidding, because even you probably aren't that stupid. I'd be surprised, though, or I could be surprised. Anyway. What else? Oh yeah, going back to the Thorgrim plus resistance. Probably not the best. The thing is, it's very chance-based. That's the problem with resistance. It's kind of the same thing with morale, and people will laugh at me for saying this. But still, once again, in all seriousness, like, yeah, you don't actually know if morale will go off ever. Same thing with resistance. It's like, okay, yes, you could have, like, 30% resistance, but for all you know, your power stacks, which are the big units that you want to resist spells, by the way, will only be able to resist them 30% of the time, supposedly, or in theory, not always at the most crucial of moments. And what's even worse is that if somebody has an orb of vulnerability, then it actually negates resistance altogether. So that's those are the 2 big problems there. By my understanding, that's the case, unless I've been super unlucky. But yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows? Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay, so easy peasy. Cleared out a Dragon Utopia there. Very nice. Cleared out the champions or cavaliers on the way to the who were guarding the Dragon Utopia. Cleared out the taupe before that, which was kind of garbo. So overall, this 1-2-4 has mostly been for, dare I say, exploration. There hasn't really been anything too crazy that has come out of this. No super big armies, no super awesome heroes, no desert town, and no crazy things coming out of Dragon Utopias. Once again, that is kind of how these things work. It's not like... And notice there that he didn't just get Monere to sit around on the Dwarven Treasure. He actually moved him. He actually moved him around on purpose. This being done to make sure that he made the most out of Monere's movement while he's getting Monere to wait to be poor man's. That's what it's called, by the way. If you're using like some random creature fight to retreat your hero into a different town, then yeah, that's poor man's town portal. Commonly used strategy, very handy. Yeah, Dave coaching. That's the plan. Dave is, well, more like Dave is playing and we're observing his gameplay with me commentating, which I think some people enjoy. Probably not. I think more people would still probably rather see like a crazy PvP match, but honestly, I have a lot of fun with this being able to commentate over Dave's game, and I actually kind of want to finish this off. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So yes, it is now 1-2-5. Monere is camped on the crypt, it looks like, and the other heroes all have a chance to move. Two things worth noting. First of all, most of his heroes have a Serpent Fly as their slowest unit, meaning that they have massive, or dare I say, massive amounts of movement, almost similar to that of a Stables. But meanwhile, Tazar is about to clear out another Dragon Utopia. Yeah, I am partially surprised that you didn't. Do you have a what's your necklace, Dave, on Tazar?
That's a good spell. Immunity.
Oh, I see. Well, because I was going to say, like, there was a Pendant of Courage there. I'm surprised that you didn't try to consider picking that up. Or is it too far off the road, or what's the problem there?
It's off-road and I need the movement.
Okay. I was just thinking, like, if you had attacked it on your way to the Dragon Utopia, maybe you would have been able to free it up for one of your other heroes to quickly grab the Pendant of Courage. But anyway. But yeah, as you can see, Dave doesn't actually pick up all of the artifacts along the way. There's like this Tunic of the Cyclops King here. You have the Dragon Scale armor, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so because Dave has the Dragon Scale armor, he knows that he's not going to be switching it out for the Tunic of the Cyclops King. So he is leaving it there to save himself a bit of movement. It is totally possible that an opponent could come in and steal it, or steal this... I see. Anyway, yeah, his opponent could come in and steal this army of, or this artifact that's just lying around, but even then, it's probably not worth it just because of the amount of movement that's burnt on that.
Okay, so we can see that there's a dirt zone close to this road here. So I don't know if it's worth going forward. I was actually planning to go back and refill my mana after I take the top with Braun.
Yeah, seen a bit Sesame. So while you decide that, I was going to ask you quickly. Markadam asks a pretty interesting question here. Can I ask Dave, is there any difference when you play a noobish player like me or you play a pro player like Gamunguls? Like, I would play more careful against weaker players because there is pretty small probability they empty the whole desert on 1-2-2 or 1-2-3. It looks like you did take the fight in the end. But yeah, I think the question that's being asked is basically, when you consider who your opponent is, do you adjust your gameplay accordingly? And I would assume the answer is yes, but I'll let you give your 2 cents.
Well, I always try to give my best against. It doesn't matter who I play against. I think it's the most respectful way to play against somebody is to give your best every time.
Agreed. But at the same time,
Sometimes I like to fuck around in PM, but it doesn't happen that often.
I think what he was more curious about, or the question that was being asked, was more along the lines of like, if you know that it's me, it's like, okay, well, obviously it's MeKick I'm playing against, so he's not going to be breaking the desert prior to 1-2-1. I don't have to be worried about that. Like, does that have an impact in the decision-making scheme that you have?
Well, breaks before 1-1 are very unlikely anyway, even with pro players. So I won't expect anyone to do that, because if it does happen, then you're fucked anyway. But I guess it would affect my thought process. Like, I wouldn't expect a weaker player to use long chains to capture towns with scout heroes and stuff like that. But of course, it's always the best way to play is to prepare for everything your opponent could do, I think.
And Rito's claim here that breaks on 1-1 are common, actually, but
I said break before 1-1.
Mhm. Wow. And there Tyrannuxus goes backing up his bro. And there you go. Okay, so pretty easily done dragging Utopia. And there is some salvation at last, Sword of Judgment. I don't think you have a Sword of Judgment yet, do you?
No, it's pretty nice from Minitope. And also Spyglass for some scouting.
Lightbringer, yes. The Lightbringer. So yeah, some nice stats coming in here. What difficulty is this, 200? No, this is 160. The whole point of setting this to 160, because there are some people who get disappointed when they don't see 200% matches being played. The whole idea behind 160 is to simulate what the difficulty level that is usually being played in a PvP match. Like when I'm playing against AI, obviously I'd set it to 200 to make it as difficult for myself as possible. But in this case, if you're playing against real players, the assumption is that you're going to be playing it on 160, with maybe some, like, give or take, off of bidding for towns and collar and shit. But yeah, so once again, the idea is, what was I trying to get at? I forget now. Frick. Oh yeah, the idea is to simulate a PvP match, and PvP matches are usually built 160, and that's what Dave went with. As to why it's the most common difficulty level, I'd assume that it's mainly because it gives you just enough to work with that you're not completely going to be screwed over by a somewhat shitty start. But at the same time, it's not bad enough that or it's not crazy enough that you can go ham and build whatever you feel like in hard difficulty, or 130% or 100% even.
I feel like Russians felt 130% was too easy for some templates, so I guess they switched it to 160. It's hard enough, but not shit poor like 200. Actually, some players prefer 200% difficulty even on templates like 6 and A. I sometimes see Indra play 200 difficulty on 6 and A and on Mirror.
That's pretty interesting to note, actually.
Okay, so I got advanced air on my A9, and what I normally would do is check for view air, and I do have it in my tower, so I buy him back here and check the map on where the enemy heroes are. Of course, it's now AI, so it doesn't matter, but in a real match, it's very important to know what your opponent is doing.
And which direction they're at. Those are probably the two important things. Like,
yeah, and
in this case, you know that if you start pushing northeast, you're probably not going to run into Europe if you go that way, but if you're to go southwest, then yeah, you get that Inferno town, but it is kind of dangerous in case Blue decides to attack, right?
And yeah, and judging by the positions, you can most of the time guess where his main hero is. Like usually when there are two heroes up front, right next to each other, it could be that a scout hero is just taking away the army from the main, and one of the blue dots are the main hero. So that's important to consider when rushing. I actually had a similar situation against Allied on Diamond, and I only saw 8 blue dots, and I went for the ones that were close to each other.
So in a nutshell, this is basically Dave saying, like, okay, so these are hints that allow him to determine not just where enemy heroes are, but also where the enemy main hero is and what stack of heroes he should be going after. Because if you got like a clump of heroes right next to each other, there's pretty much only two possibilities, one of which is a lot more likely. Either they're having like a little salsa party as part of a hero chain or some shit, or they're basically sitting next to the main hero or the enemy main hero to like feed them resources and shit or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's by my understanding something to note about what you were talking about just now, right?
Yeah. On my chat, Marketam asked if I do make print screens about viewer and Earth, and the answer is yes. When I do have time, I make my print screens. The first chance I get, especially on Excel plus U maps, because in later phases it takes a lot of time checking view Earth every time, and with timer ticking to 0, it saves quite a bit of time.
So there's some next level stuff right there, and presumably you can even look at these print screens on your opponent's turn, which also saves you a lot of time when you're trying to think.
Yeah, and of course you can combine the two viewer and Earth, so you will know exactly where the enemy heroes are on the map, because it shows the roads as well. And I remembered one more thing about viewer, that if you know that a certain town is in a position, and when you check with viewer that there is a hero on that position and the town doesn't show, then there's a hero inside the town. So like if you're checking with viewer and there's my main fortress town, but you don't see it with viewer because there's a hero inside, so it will only show my hero on the map.
And this applies even with expert error, yeah?
Yeah. Well, actually, I am not sure. I think advanced error only shows the heroes on the map and not the towns. What? Yeah. For both of them, you need the expert. So I'm thinking about taking on the easy freely with Mefala, because I have huge stats even on a level 1 hero. But on the other hand, if it's a high horde and there are sultans, then it's probably not worth it. Because the opponent could come and
attack you on this turn.
Attack you.
But then again, you also view aired, so you know that your opponent's not actually anywhere near you in this case.
Yeah, but in a real match, it could be
Yeah,
different.
it would probably Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, once again, it's important to know view air, view earth, those controls. Well, those are spells that aren't like they're useful. They're very useful for knowing the areas that you don't know about. So I kind of want to take a step away from this for a second because there are a fair number of questions that are being asked. Yeah, so here's the first one that I think is actually closer. I don't know if Kiriko is still here. Thank you if you still are, Kiriko, and thanks for being patient. Do you prefer to go for specific power stacks depending on town, or just get the creature with most additional dwellings around? So yeah, what would you say?
Could you repeat that?
Do you prefer to go for specific specific power stacks depending on the town that you're playing, or do you just prefer to get the creature with the most additional dwellings lying around?
I'm not sure what this question refers to. Like, why go for the hives or?
Like if you, yeah, basically if you have like, let's say, I don't know, 6 null. I'm assuming this is what the question means. You have like 6 null dwellings. Would you rather build like a null power stack, or would you insist on going for like wibs? Yeah, wibs or something.
Well, when you have only 6 null dwellings, your main objective should be scouting more, so in hopes of finding actually some useful objects, because most of the time 6 level 1 dwellings won't be sufficient to break on Jebus.
Proved that wrong a while back, but anyway. Luxentio says, just use some damn cheats. Yes, use cheats in a PvP match, absolutely. Yes, I had a salsa party against Meridian Rams. So Beto is asking how old we are. It is indeed a secret for in my end. Yes, and fitting guesses that you're around 40 and that I'm somewhere around 25. Zalto saying I'm 12. You're just saying you're not 40. Logusty is saying that my name is David, that I'm actually talking to myself, but anyway.
My age is not a secret. It's 21.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gents. Unlucky DD says, ask him 6 Nolov Ili Odna Strakoza? I have no clue what that means. Yes, yes, Rams. Yes. Okay, seriously, I need a way to freaking start banning these stupid links. After this is done, don't click on that. I will probably, yeah, I'll probably add a new filter into the. I need to add a new, what's it called, keyword to ban. But yeah. Just let me know when you're done the turn, and then I'm gonna go be right back quickly. And because I've seen these freaking like bots come in and actually write in my chat a lot more frequently as of recent, so yeah, I don't want people clicking on these links randomly. I'd rather just ban them outright. Ban all links, allow manually. No, 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 Kilbury, absolutely not. No. I don't like banning out links just because there's a few rotten apples. I want people to have close to freedom of speech here within reason. And yeah, no, this is a fight that's fairly straightforward-ish. It's just up against AAs. He needs to clear out the AAs so that he can actually get to the town. He will lose a few units here, but of course it is important that he does get his hands on the on this town that's coming up here. And of course, they are guarding a sort of judgment, which I guess
which I already have
a duplicate of. Yeah, freedom of speech, except you, Rito. Except you. You're just a douche. If it's mostly same bots, you can probably block. Yeah, no, exactly, Karakota. That's what I was planning to go for. Yeah, is plebs from Russia. Or is that a serious question? Plebs is not actually a person. I capitalized plebs because it's referring to you guys. I'm referring to you all as one entity. You didn't even listen when we told you the map template was for only one player. Get out of here. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so as we can see, Dave does have a bit of a choice here, I think is kind of what you're debating. You can get yourself a tavern, or you can... Oh, never mind. It looks like you're just going to go straight for the...
Yes, Mage Guild.
Yeah, you're just going to go straight for the Mage Guild. Is there anything guarding that town? The Inferno town?
Yeah, I think a pack of gogs and a few demons.
I see. So basically the idea here is Dave is going to clear out this prison, and he's going to use that, whatever hero he gets to... Well, I guess we'll find out in a second. Yes, it said one player, but that's H3DM1 is mirror. It's meant for 2 players. I don't quite know why I wasn't able to start a game, but I don't think it's because I had 2 players in the game, considering that, well, I don't know, there's only like 30,000 other people who play competitively who love playing mirror, and they play with 2 people, so yeah. Alright. So yeah, as you can see here, Dave made sure to have most of his heroes in this middle area, in case, well, mostly, well, 1 for chaining and 2 for exploring, because like having just your main hero in the desert, it's nice, but obviously you're going to want to have some scout or some side heroes as well to go clear out stuff on the side that you really don't want to get your main hero to clear out, to explore whichever direction you're going ahead of time, so you know what you want to do without having to send your main hero there and waste extra movement. But yeah. Yes, fitting researcher, no Russian. Well, of course, talking in the context of Modern Warfare 2, I'm actually quite okay with Russians coming in there, although apparently there's like anti-Russian repellent because very few people have ever actually tried to speak Russian in my channel for some bizarre ass reason. Anyway. Wait, well, what would the link even do? The cache monad, I have no idea. I'd really rather not find out, and I would recommend that you, I'd really recommend that you guys don't click it either. Because, well, like I said, it's just not a good idea. Don't click links that you don't trust. Yeah.
But it is a pretty rich desert, and there's a ton of earth on the ground, which is very important not to leave for the opponent.
So then who are you going to use to try and clear that out with?
This prison hero. I do have single slows, and I can take up a couple of the tasks.
Wait, where'd you get slow from? Scroll? Oh yeah, it is.
Scroll.
Okay. I see that you also put in the what is it? The summon boat scroll. Just in worst case scenario, that you can't win the fight, so you can summon a boat over top of them. So once again, clever move by Dave.
Yeah. Growth tactics.
Because the HoMM3 Poles and Russians are polite. Luckily, it's not like this in other games. Gosh, Kirakota. Though it's hard to trust these people here, but it would be kind of perfect if you had 2 mods. One who understands this game well can answer questions about the game in case you missed them, and 1 mod for those who are too loud. This chat just idea, don't crucify me. No, that's fine. Ideas are totally fine, but once again, this is my take on it. If you want a job done, it's best you do it yourself. So, yeah, it's not like this chat has gotten unbearable to the point. Well, like people throw memes and shit, but it's nothing like. It's nothing that I look at and say, "Oh man, this is really out there." People are wreaking havoc, and there's not much I can do. Like, no, it's not. It hasn't hit that point yet. So you know what? It's not a big deal. Yeah, I don't quite think I need to worry just yet. So as you guys can see, the way Dave took this fight, he doesn't have a hero with Expert Earth, so he has to play it a little bit more carefully. He's using 1-stack, or the 1-stack dragonflies, or serpent flies and dragonflies to kind of lure them away, or lure the mighty gorgons away while he uses slow on them as well. pretty easily done battle. I don't really think I need to commentate much over it. It speaks for itself. As you can see here, now he has to figure out a chain to get the army back. But anyway, I think he has Mafala for that. But yeah, so he basically used Wyvern Monarchs, go in, hit a stack, insta-kill it, fly back, go in, hit the stack, fly back, with such high attack and defense skill, well, I guess with such high attack skill based off of the artifacts that he's been collecting, that's pretty much easy pickings for him to do. Now, here's the real problem. He does have a Tome of Earth Magic, but he has no hero with, Earth Magic, which can really make super good use of it. He can still use Town Portal, and, yeah, he can still use, like, Town Portal to get him to the Inferno Town, but it's not like he can choose what town he's going to. It's not like his Resurrection casts are permanent. Okay, there's also Implosion, but, yeah, once again, I think, yeah, not having Expert Earth is kind of a problem. And I'm sure Dave is still crossing his fingers that he does get Earth Magic in this case, so... Alright, moving along. Did the game with Meridian already end? Oh, yes. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Meta boat strats, yes. Coaching of... Yes, my coaching of Dave. It's going quite well. Just, it's 1-2-5 now. We started on 1-2-3, of course, and we've been discussing the strategies. And he cleared out 2 taupes, I think, so far, and 1 contained a Sword of Judgment, and he's now taking the Desert Town, so he has a foothold in this area before he proceeds to roll out the... Oh, he also grabbed a Tome of Earth just now. Now he can go, and there's 3 more taupes incoming. That'll be good. And yeah. So Kirakoda says, have you ever got 2 times the Lucky Strike with Grand Elder Crusaders followed by Morale and 2 more Lucky Strikes? No, of course not. Well, the chance of luck, morale, luck is closer to 0 than 0 itself. Tome of Earth that I was looking for in the Skelly's vid. Alright. But yeah. So at this point, Dave's just switching up his army so that in case his opponent attacks, he actually has... Will it actually like move your units properly in this case if you do that? Like the Wyvern Monarchs, you left 3 open slots for them. If somebody attacks you, doesn't it just merge all of the Wyvern Monarchs together?
It does only if you put it in the garrison. If you put 1 stacks on the hero, then it won't merge.
I see.
So if you're trying to like go put 1 stack of Gorgons here, they will just merge if you get attacked.
Oh, okay, I see. So there you have it. So the idea here is Dave has set himself up really nicely. In case somebody attacks him, I think all the, like, both the units in the garrison and on your hero will, like, be in the same army, but then you'll have the 2 Wyvern Monarch stacks, right? Or the 2 1 stacks of Wyvern Monarchs.
Yeah.
Okay. And on top of that, yeah, so he moved his army off of his main hero because people keep asking about this. I'm sure somebody's wondering. Somebody always wonders about this. Speed of the movement points on your hero is determined at the start of each turn by the slowest unit in your army. So by keeping only the Wyvern Monarchs, he'll have the maximum amount of movement that he can possibly have at the start of next turn, while keeping his hero as safe as possible. So yeah. Okay, be right back. Can have some chocolates. Yes, Polish players only meme. They don't actually play. Huh. Okay, so here's an interesting question from Fun Fridays. Do you have a favorite hero?
No, not really. I have many heroes that I had high hopes for, and they disappointed me many times.
Huh. I see.
Especially Kier.
Kier, don't even talk about Kier. Kier is like... Kier... It's always water magic to God. Like, the odds of getting water shouldn't be even close to that high on Cure, but for some reason she always just ends up with water magic. Doesn't matter what you do.
I played Battle of Favorites, I think 2 years ago, and I went with Rampart. And of course I picked Gear every game, and for like 5 consecutive games, Gear was so shit. I literally couldn't believe it. I played like 10 games in total, and 7 of them was just such a fucking idiot hero.
So what kind of secondaries did you get?
Well, there were like 3 games where it was water magic 3 times at level 4, 8, and 12. Luckily, in one of the games I had a flux down, but in the other 2 I didn't.
Oh.
And there were 2 more games where she got like leadership and resistance and some other crap.
I see. Sorry, can I have a second? I just want to quickly go and ban some... Yeah, take care of some bans that I need to dish out and answer some other stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sweet, thanks. Alright, here we go. So... Yeah, so somebody was asking what hero are we referring to that always gets shit secondaries, and we're talking about Kier, fitting researcher. We're talking about freaking Kier from Rampart, who for some bizarre ass reason just has the nerve to go and get water magic every single gosh damn time that she gets picked. For some odd reason. Like, you might come up to us and say, no, that's not how Kier is at all. No, that's bullshit. Like, Kier just, for some odd ass reason, always loves getting freaking loves getting oh, there we go. Loves getting water magic, and I think a lot of people can vouch for me on this one. Okay, so configure it. No, how do I? Seriously, I hate this new freaking interface. I just want to go to settings and add some. Okay, you know what? Maybe this will do it. There we go. This makes no sense to me. I don't know why there's no feature to, or there's no button in the sidebar to get me to my settings. Channel and videos, was it? Or was it security privacy? Let's see. There's gotta be block permitted list. Ah, here we go. Add words or phrases to be blocked. So let's just Alamar overall. Okay. So okay. Let's just go over here, and I think I can get rid of that. I think if I go like star, that should do it. Add. Other. Okay. Kind of phrased my banning. You know what? Identity language. Freaking Twitch. Trying to get feedback from you. I want to waste my time. Alright. Close this. Okay, so no more of this freaking bots trying to come in and fill up my chat with like random garbage that I don't care about. Quite know why I can't time them out. Anyway, whatever. Alright, so here's another interesting question that I'll ask once I tab back over to your stream. Thanks for waiting. Oh, you're still going. I didn't even realize. Okay. Here you all go. This is where Dave is at now. I think I missed out on a bit of it, but basically he took the fight against Dendroids. I'd imagine that this fight against Dendroids is the for the Pendant of Courage. And there's probably two reasons why he took this fight. It's not just for the XP, or sorry, it's not just for the artifacts or whatever these dendroids are guarding. It's probably also so he could level up Grindon to make him into a viable side hero. Because the thing is, right now, like I said earlier, Dave has Tome of Earth, and he has good heroes, but these heroes don't actually have. Earth magic. Earth magic. So you can't really make as much use of the Tome of Earth as I think you would like to. So yeah, this fight that he took, great XP for Grindon. It also frees up the Pendant of Courage in case he ever wants to take that. But once again, very, very nice overall that he got this Grindon with full, level 5 with I think Expert Earth and a bunch of other shit. Now moving along, what else? Okay, so Betono was asking, who's the opponent who you respect most? And then he put bracket toughest opponent. Once again, the opponent that you respect most, I'm gonna bring this up quickly, is not always the same opponent that you have the most respect for. Wait, sorry. The opponent that you have the most respect for isn't always the person who you find the toughest opponent. There we go. Yeah, but yeah, do you have an answer for that, Dave?
Well, I'd say Gamungosh and Fire to Sky.
Sorry, who is the first one?
Gamungosh.
Oh, I see. So Gamunguls and Fire to Sky are the two people that Dave has the most respect for. What about Moretti, if you don't mind me asking?
I didn't say his name because he's not currently playing, but of course I looked up to him very much when he was playing.
Yeah, so Fitting Researcher says, I know Kier tends to get shit skills, like Drakon always tends to get awesome skills in Earth on level 2. I don't recall such a thing ever happening, but anyway. Is it Kier or just Rangers in general? I'd say it's Rangers in general, but even Kier, like, because the thing is, usually if you're playing a Ranger, you're playing either Kier or Eva, probably Kier. And so you see it most of the time on Kier. You don't really see this so much on, like, Kraghack, Tyrax, or other Barbarians. You don't even see it on, like, even Tazar the Clown, like, you will get offered, sometimes you get offered water magic, but, you know, once or twice. Usually not as bad as Dave's luck right now, though, overall. But Kier, oh my goodness, like, expect to get offered water magic all the time, honest to gosh. Yeah, and also, Fitting, you're saying Drakon will be the perfect hero if not for leadership. I'm actually with Taranuxus on this. Leadership in Hoda can be a lifesaver. Like, because the meta changes because of the number of creature banks you can make or that you can have in Hoda, or the number of creature banks you can fight in Hoda, and the different types of armies that you can make. You'll usually have like Cyclopses. You'll have giants. You'll have angels. Angels aren't obviously going to hamper your morale, but all of the other units that I mentioned, right? Like, freaking. Okay, so yeah, pretty straightforward fight. Just making the most out of it, I guess. Yep. Yeah, just using Braun for this side fight. Nothing too crazy. He's using his the Liches actually went for, the Power Liches actually went for the Wyvern Monarch side, which is a bit surprising. But anyway. But yeah, once again, water magic's being offered, but rest assured, it's not as bad as if Kier had it. Take my word for that. Yeah, so notice that Dave just now, he took navigation or ballistics. But anyway, yeah, so Dave had the option, Dave, before he took the Pandora's box, he equipped the Angel Wings. This actually saves him a fair bit of movement because the Angel Wings does give your hero fly and allows them to negate the terrain penalty from being on the desert terrain, which is kind of shitty for movement. Going back to what I was saying earlier, though, like if you're playing Hoda, because there's so many creature banks, you know, you can have armies of like 5 different alignments minimum: angels, giants, cyclopses, firebirds. Admittedly, the firebird one is rare, and I think wyverns, right? Plus the units from your starting town, like that makes 6 already. But like, once again, that's where leadership comes in real handy, especially with negative morale artifacts and negative morale artifacts being a lot more prominent. Leadership XDO is not as desired a skill as some of the other ones. On Shadow of Death and Hoda, things are a little bit different. You own a lot of late game at the beginning is kind of iffy. Actually, to be quite honest, Tarnux, I think it's the other way around. I would scouting, or maybe not even the other way around, but I think scouting is actually useful for the entirety of the match, believe it or not. Early on, obviously, it's not going to be as useful as Expert Earth. That's somewhat debatable, but not really debatable at the same time. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is like, okay, if it's like 113, 114, and you have a guy with, let's say Fiona, right, with advanced scouting, you can actually see like where the exit to your area is. I think that scouting does serve its uses. Obviously, in the late game, you get to see a lot more where the treasure areas are and whatnot. But I'm assuming that you committed suicide on purpose with Khaled.
Yeah, I wanted to check the numbers, and now we can see that there's an upgrade stack, and by HW rules you can reduce the numbers with infinite number of scouts. So I will do that.
Okay, so guys, this is something that I think we need to talk about right here. Dave is going to be employing a tactic called the reducing the guard bug. This is only available in Shadow of Death, and the way it works is that if you take a fight against a creature, like a set of wandering monsters that have an upgraded stack, even if you, like, let's say retreat, at the end of the match, or at the end of the battle, that stack of Ifrit Sultans will just basically disappear, and the overall number of Ifriti that you go up against actually disappears. So as you can see here, instead of being an 11 Ifrit Sultans, it's only now 6. So he's already halved the stack by doing this, or halved the number of Ifrit Sultans that he has to go up against. This is obviously going to be super useful when he inevitably brings his main army over here to try and clear out this these 2 Pandora's boxes and the Dragonfly Hives. So there's some good use of Scout Heroes, his gold, and the reducing the guard bug being used here. Alright, so...
the mechanics of this is that the AI will count the number of Ifriti and not the upgraded stack, so it will only be, like in this case, 24 plus 10 left, so 34. Yeah. So in the next battle it will be just 5 stacks.
So Tarnux is saying no respect for Toranum, or he was the shit 2 years ago. They're like, Beastmaster's the worst skill, but he's still much better than Knight. Yeah, but no one's advocating for Knights to begin with, except for Ramsrock and Stannis. 5 for water, 3 earth, and 1 air. Sorry, my mistake, yeah. Totally forgot about that. I don't remember the exact numbers. All I know is Rangers get shit for get water magic fairly often. So good to have to start with. Yeah. I guess so, yeah. Yeah, why not navigation on Jebus Cross? Did Hoda fix the armor bug? Yes, supposedly that it did. Higher than a 4 out of 12 chance. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, let's see where we're at with Ein now. So basically Dave is just about done farming. Okay, so yeah, now you can see at the start of this turn there were about 66 Ifriti, and sorry, 66 Ifriti in total, 11 of which were actually upgraded, or Sultans. And at this point, this fight is now easy pickings. Part of the reason why he did that, or why Dave did that, is that presumably Free Sultans are kind of a terrifying unit because of their fire shield. If you actually hit them with your, I guess, power stack of, well, non-ranged power stack in this case, if Dave attacked it with, let's say, Women Monarchs, then a lot of that damage would have been reflected, and that's not something that armor or high defense skill can really defend against. He just would have lost units, period, straight up. So yeah. As you can see, Manair, the hero that Dave has actually been keeping around his starting area to eventually buff up. He got brought in, and as you can see, he's clearing out these Pandora's boxes. Now, you might be wondering, why did Dave use Manair to clear out these Pandora's boxes instead of Tazar? Well, as it turns out, it's highly unlikely. Okay, well, and
I actually didn't see this text before, because I never entered the pyramid with no wisdom.
Didn't I make this mistake once? I feel like I made this mistake once. You've learned strats from me, Dave. I can feel it. I feel it. You're getting some of the MeKick style right here.
I don't remember this ever happening, to be honest.
Well, there you guys have it. Oh, Solmer. But yeah, as you guys saw, in order to actually get the spell from a pyramid, you need to actually have a spell book and, I guess, wisdom by extension. But yeah, so something to note here. Something to note here. So why did he not take those boxes with the Tsar? Well, the thing is, right, there's 4 possibilities. It could have been XP, gold, spells, or creatures. And in the case that it's creatures or gold, of course you're going to want a scout hero or a side hero to do that. In the case of XP or spells, it gets a bit tricky. Because with XP, right, Tazar is already level 18 with 65,000 XP, as you can see right here. Because he has such a ridiculously high amount of XP, and it costs him a lot of XP to level up. Most of that XP is a lot better spent on another hero who levels up a lot more quickly, or who gains levels a lot more quickly, because the higher up you go in levels, the more difficult it is to gain levels. But by using these Pandora's boxes to level up side heroes, he has a better way to clear out the desert. Yeah, like, he doesn't buff Tazar as quickly, but at the same time, if you grab that box with Tazar, he only gains, like, what, 1 or 2 levels? Whereas Manair picked it up and got, like, 9 levels on the spot. So, yeah, there was that, I guess you could say. The other thing is also spells. I was talking about that as a possibility. It's true, it's quite possible that that box could have contained all spells. I don't know.
Well,
Dave.
Tazar doesn't even have wisdom, so...
Yes, I know. I was going to get to that, but yeah. So Tazar doesn't even have wisdom. So even if that box did contain all spells, the most you could have really learned out of it were the level 1s and the level 2s. So yeah, once again, the Pandora's boxes are pretty great, but you have to know when the right time to pick them up would be. Even if Tazar did have wisdom, though, I don't quite think that you would have picked up those Pandora's boxes with Tazar.
Probably not.
Yeah, mainly because it's just, first of all, it's a little far off the road. Second of all, like, it's far off the road and you actually need to move Tazar in that direction, and Tazar's, like, already, like, 1 or 2 screens down. But the other thing is also that the most you could have, like, that Dave could have really gotten out of it is Dimension Door and Fly, which are pretty good, of course, but once again, he has Tome of Earth, and presumably off of one of these Dragon Utopias, he may get a Spellbinder's Hat or a Tome of Air, which should cover him. So there's no need to actually waste movement going in that direction, right?
Yeah, there are more important things to do with my main.
Mm-hmm. You probably... Destructiox is saying, you probably made every mistake once, MeKick. Then Garakota is saying, Dave is losing skill from playing with MeKick talking to him. Oh, man. Yeah, Tyrannoxus is saying, MK made every possible mistake you can do in HoMM3. Yes, well... Anyway, Fant is also 50% for Earth, yes. Garakota says, I want to confirm what I was talking about a few hours ago. If you go into a fight with only 1 stack, your neutral mobs are usually split into 7 stacks. Well, it depends what unit you've brought into the fight. The way it works, Garakota... Whoa. what just happened here? Oh, did they back out? They didn't want to fight, did they? That's probably what happened.
No, they didn't.
Okay,
It was a low value buffs, so it was only like 25 of them.
25. That seems like a lot, but anyway. Yeah. So going to answer your question, Karakota, the thing is, the thing with fighting wandering monsters, they split themselves up into more stacks based off of how strong or how weak your army is. If your army is super weak, then they'll split themselves up into they'll split themselves up into 7 stacks, right? And if your army is really strong, then usually they'll opt to flee, or sometimes they'll opt to flee, but otherwise if you fight them, they'll split themselves up into 1 or 2 stacks. Yeah, if you've ever seen me play Jebus, and I'm sure you've seen me play a lot of Jebus, even last game, if you remember, when I took the fight against the Giants, which had the upgraded Titan stack, my army consisted of like 30 Wyvern Monarchs, or sorry, 30 Wivs and like 30 Scorpicors or some shit. The game judged the 30 Giants as being roughly equal, if that's the case, because there were 4 stacks, roughly equal in army size to mine. So accordingly, they split themselves up into 4 stacks. If, for example, I only had like a bunch of 1 stacks, then they would have probably split themselves up into 7. It really depends. Your army versus theirs. If, for example, you brought an Archangel, then they'll split themselves up probably into. If you brought an Archangel against like, I don't know, 50 pikemen, they'll split themselves up into 2 stacks straight up, or 1 stack. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. With 1 weak stack for sure, that's how Luna abuses early game. That's right, and a lot of people take advantage of that. Yes, AI should always split army into 7 stacks when against MeKick. You know, sometimes I don't think that would be such a bad idea, or that wouldn't be so bad. And here Dave oh, okay, so the Mighty Gorgons took the defensive stance because he's pretty sure, I'd imagine, that the death stare is not going to go off, given your luck. Oh wow! Oh wow! It actually procced the Death Gaze and killed 2 black dragons. There you have it, ladies and gents. So as you guys can see here, it's 126, and Dave is now proceeding to clear clear another taupe. Okay, let's see now. Spellbinder's Hat, as was mentioned earlier, one of these taupes presumably should contain control. Should. Yammer's Fallacy in action here. And yeah, so he's moving Rashka back. Notice how he switched the Angel Wings off for capable velocity when he took the Dragon Utopia fight. That gave his Wyvern Monarch speed advantage, and he also didn't need the Angel Wings in the fight, obviously. He switches them out when he's back on the map. So proper artifact switch, like, stuff, or having the right artifacts on your hero at the right time is also quite important, obviously. But anyway, so now we've got... So as you can see here, Dave is moving his army and artifacts between heroes here. So as you saw, without hesitation...
There is one interesting thing to note here, that DD costs 300 movement with no air magic, but you can actually cast it with less than 300 if you have at least some movement point left. So,
really?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that you can use the Spellbinder's Hat right now with only 100? And there you have it. Shit. I did not know that, actually, which is surprising. I feel like that's something I probably should have known, but...
I also didn't know it for a long time.
Huh. Interesting. Well, there you have it. Note to self. Factor. What if you have Expert Air? Like, does the School of Magic you have impact that? Because I'm pretty sure that's not what's happened in the past for me.
What do you mean?
No, nothing. I'm just thinking, like, how... never mind. I'm just being crazy. Alright. Okay, that's pretty cool. Tyronoxus is saying, WTF, I learned something from it, didn't expect it. Are you serious? Then you know that you can cast spells without a book? Did you just... Okay, Rito, that's not what we were talking about. Rito, we're talking about movement here. Oh. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about movement. Apparently, You can cast Dimension Door with less than 300 movement points, because normally a Dimension Door, or at least a basic Dimension Door, costs 100 movement points. Or no, sorry, 300 movement points. Basic Dimension Door costs 300 movement points, and Dave had less than 300. He had like 114 or some shit, and he was able to just grab the or use the Dimension Door willy-nilly, no problem. So yeah, today we learned. Yeah, 300. I mean, that's why I said base, a base Dimension Door without actually having air magic costs 300. Okay, so I guess here Craghack will be taking this fight. And notice how Dave isn't actually isn't afraid to cycle between heroes, because he has 60,000 gold from clearing out already 2 taupes, I think, and now he's going to be going for, I think, a 3rd one this turn, or the 2nd one, I can't remember anymore. But anyway, note that this has all been done in 1 turn. So some people sometimes ask, like, yo, how many heroes are used by pro players in a match? And oh, there's Stannis. We'll see whether or not you decide to dismiss him. But anyway, yeah, like a lot of people ask me, like, okay, in pro play, how many heroes are used in a turn? And the answer is sometimes, or sorry, they're like, okay, how many heroes are being used? 1, 2 big heroes, 8 heroes, and what I say sometimes is sometimes they use a lot more than 8. If you've actually observed this turn very carefully, Dave used about 3 heroes to go clear out that Dragon Utopia northwest of his Inferno town. And now he's trying to get the correct, appropriate heroes to try and clear out this Dragon Utopia. So you might be wondering, what is Dave cycling for exactly? Why does he keep just buying out and dismissing heroes? And the answer is that he presumably wants to have a hero with a good number of starting spell points, so that once he clears out this fight against this Dragon Utopia, that he can just town portal back directly. Because I mean, well, yeah, that's basically it. He wants a hero who he can just waltz in this Dragon Utopia, take it, and then town portal or Dimension Door back. I don't know which one you had in mind, but I assume that's what you're trying to do.
No, that's not necessary actually, because I can reach the hero.
Then what was the point of buying out all those other heroes?
I want to cast the Earth Elemental in the taupe.
Oh, well, there you have it. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so yeah, Dave is going for the Earth Elementals. Once again, because the meat is necessary. The thing is, Dave has been using his Mighty Gorgons in the last couple of fights, and now he wants to actually get some Earth Ellies so that the dragons can actually munch on those instead of potentially the Wyvern Monarchs or the Mighty Gorgons. In this case, I don't think he's going to be bringing the Mighty Gorgons to this fight, but yeah. Does it work even when you have 1 MP? That's a good question. I've never had... Well, okay, so...
But technically you can't have 1 movement point left, because you need at least 50 to make a move on fast roads.
That's right, that's right. That's what I was going to say.
But I would assume it works the same, even if you have 50. I haven't tried it.
So yeah, Tyrannuxus, the threshold for minimum movement points is, well, okay, it's obviously 0, but then after that is 50. Because yeah, once you hit 50, I think the game will just automatically deplete the rest of the movement point pool, because there's nothing you can do, for sure. If you have 50, or if you have less than 50 movement points, you're the assumption is you can't do anything at all. But yeah, does it work even if you have 1 MP? Does it work with DD scroll / DD from Air book that DD learned from MG? I don't know. I have no idea. This is just... Dave, what do you say to that?
Sorry, what was the question?
So Tyrannuxus is wondering if it works with a DD scroll, DD from Air book, and DD learned from MG. Like, does it matter what you're using to generate the... or to use the to use Dimension Door?
It doesn't.
Okay, so apparently it shouldn't matter. Boots of Speed, so that's kind of nice. The thing is, Sword of Judgment is already in his so there's really no need for that. And by the way, something to consider, even though these topes aren't useful to Dave, or at least the artifacts he's getting aren't useful, the gold is kind of nice, but more importantly, I would say, the big thing here is that the opponent, or Dave's opponent, cannot get the artifacts from these topes, because you can see if I were playing bottom left side right now, or okay, fine, maybe not me, but let's say, I don't know, an actual player were playing on the bottom left side of Dave right now, he could have gone and cleared out the 3 topes that Dave took, and they could have actually been useful to his opponent. But now, because Dave has control over the middle here, and he has a lot of heroes in this area, in fact, there's even like 4 topes. Yeah, in this turn, I think he's going to be taking a total of about 4 topes. He hasn't even moved Tazar yet, funny enough. But yeah, because there's been a total of about 4 topes, Dave will take all 4 of these before his opponent can even get a chance to do anything about them. That's kind of the idea. So basically, crushing your opponent's options is about as important as actually gaining something for yourself. Or at least, yeah, that's a thing. Alright, so Fallen Rain is asking, when you're streaming heroes, how do you set it up the screen be that big? Well, you just you just go. Okay, so right now I'm not the one playing Heroes 3. I am watching Dave play. He's probably set to full screen, right? 1280 by 720.
I don't know the exact numbers.
Okay, well, either way, I mean, if you have the... Oh, I see what you're... Okay, no, you need the HD mod. Fallen Rain, I don't know if you're still here. Is it on the setting of OBS or the game? It is setting of the game. I'll give you a link in a second. No self-deprecating humor, huh? Yeah, the ADD bug might be quite handy. Ah, Raquel, I did not expect to see you here. You are not welcome. Get out of here. Okay, moving along now. Tyranux, yeah, so does it work with 50 movement points? Like I said, I have no idea. I don't know. I just discovered this. Once again, these would be questions for Dave. I don't know if you'd want to answer that, Dave. Basically, as I mentioned...
Like I said, it probably does work with 50.
Yeah, so it probably does work for at least 50, is what Dave was saying, Tyrannuxus. Bye, screw you too. Yes! She's gone! She's gone! Yay! Alright, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, that's right, HD. This is for you, Fallen Rain. You may also want Hoda, and sadly, unfortunately for me, it looks like no one commented on... No one commented on the fact that she doesn't have mod, so this is disappointing. Ice Tactics is always a tier 1 skill at Ice Tactics. Alternatively, could just take the fight with Tsar with 0 losses. Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Like, it's true that he could take the... Oh, wait, hold on a second. That's not right. There we go. Actually, close this. There we go. And, yeah, there we go. Back to it. So I think it was being said, like, yeah, he could have taken these toes with no losses if he got Tazar to do all of them. But here's the thing, right? You don't want to get Tazar to do all of these fights. It's just... obviously, tempo is very important. This is something that I stress in my games, or I like to try and stress in my games, and it also has led me to suicide quite a number of times in my matches. You want to make sure that when you go up against your opponent, that you're not just letting one hero do all the work, because it slows you down by quite a bit. Like, yeah, if you lose a Wyvern Monarch or 2, alright, it's not the end of the world. But if you're getting Tazar to move to a Dragon Utopia once per turn, it's like, when you could actually do it all in one turn, that is a lot worse. That will, shave off a lot of time that you have on hand. And now, so in this case, yeah, so in this case, like, he has been losing units, yes. He lost some Cerberus, he lost some Mighty Gorgons, but yeah, his Wyvern Monarch stack is pretty much entirely intact, more or less. And yeah, he's even going to be going for another Dragon Utopia, it looks like, depending on what he decides, how he decides to play this turn. Okay, so Gunder Road asks why nobody plays... Oh, get out of here. You're messing around. MK Sexiest only modding female. Yes, indeed. I am indeed Sexiest. Absolutely. All right, see ya, fitting researcher. And I don't quite know why my filter didn't actually work on the on that link, but I'll look more into that a little bit later. It should have blocked it out. I don't quite know why it's not blocking them out properly. All with this play is nice, but there is no way he can do it in timer. I disagree. To be honest, yes, Dave is playing this slowly, but that's not because this isn't his usual play speed. The reason why he's playing this slowly is because I'm commentating and he wants me to actually, well, one, he needs to reply to some of these himself, but also I am also commentating over his game. He wants to give, people who don't have a clue what's going on a chance to actually see what exactly is going on, right? So having said that, it might be the case that in a real game, Dave might not have enough time to do everything he's doing right now. But I don't think that necessarily to be the case. I think if it were a real game, it would be okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Dave. Because yeah, you've gone and farmed like 4 topes. Is this something you think you could have done if you had, if you were on a turn timer?
Well, obviously I would be playing much faster. And on Jebus, you don't always spend all of your time week 1, so I'd be having like 20 minutes to do all this, and it's doable.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing too to consider. Every time you take a battle, you get about like a minute and a half to finish that battle, right? So that does add up to your timer, making it a little bit easier to do some of these fights. So it wouldn't be necessarily like you will run out of timer because there's just too many topes. Although Tarnaxis is pointing out that he knows your usual play speed apparently, and also you play faster equals you do mistakes. So yeah, that's what he says.
Well, I'm sure he knows better than me.
And there you have it. Well, truth be told, Happy, unlike Rito, Tarnaxis actually does kind of know his shit, so I give him a bit more respect than Rito, but yeah. I don't... All I'm trying to say is I don't think it's fair to go as far as saying he doesn't know anything, because he knows his shit, to some extent. So Kielberg says, is that why MeKick is the fastest player in the world? Yes indeed. That absolutely. Are you doing this to filter those bots? I don't know. I can't really click on that link right now. Well, actually I can. No, hold on. Let me look at that. No, that's Nightbot. I don't even need to look at that. I'm not using Nightbot to filter the links. I'm using Twitch. Twitch has settings where you can add words that you specifically don't want to see. In my case, keyword here being words, I actually try to ban out links that I know are commonly used by bots. Because, like, okay, yeah, they're sending this... They've all been redirecting us to, like, I don't know, image-something.com. I don't remember what it's called. Actually, I can look at it right now. What am I talking about? I can just scroll up here. Yeah, imagesmate.com. It's like, all right, well, if all the links are coming in from imagesmate.com, then I'm just going to go ban that, and that'll make it so that the messages that the bots post out are harmless. Thanks for backing me up here, BKick. Oh, wait, sorry, Happy Bunny. I mean, I appreciate it, but I have to be fair. I roast people, yes, but I roast people within reason, and I say, of course, I would like to think fairly honest. Like, yeah, I mean, even if Rito has, say, some good points, then I'll acknowledge it every now and then. But yeah, I'm not just gonna shit on people for the sake of shitting on people. I try to be somewhat fair as well, which might be a little bit of a mistake at times, but whatever. Fuck. Yeah, that's what I did, Karakota. I did that. And actually, Twitch Filter does do a fair bit. I don't quite know why it's not filtering these right now. Maybe it's because it's a turbo user. I don't. Anyway, whatever. Being fair, when was the last time you updated your donation list? Probably like last month. I donated it like month to month or every 2 months or so. Because if I were, like, this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. Having to cycle through every post stream thing that I usually do, you know, answering YouTube comments, archiving, like it does take time. It does, you know, I can't remember to do everything. I gotta also, anyway, point is, yeah, no, I haven't updated the donors list since probably last month. So you might think that's a long time, but hey, I'm doing the best I can here. So yeah, as you can see in this case now, Dave is using Tazar to clear out this Dragon Utopia. Any particular reason why you chose Tazar to do this?
Yeah, I don't really have more meat to use. And, well, I guess I could hunt for another hero with 25 mana. But I don't feel like doing that, so I have to come into this direction because there's a...
You don't like doing that, why? Time? Like, you don't want to waste time, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
but you would. In a serious match, you would be fishing for heroes right now.
Well, maybe there's a Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment to the west, and I need to pick that up, and only Tazar can reach, so it makes sense that...
Okay. I was gonna say, are you sure Tazar can reach from here?
I think so. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, so there is another Dragon Utopia just south of the Inferno Town. Do you think you'll be able to pick that up as well, or...?
No, that's for next turn.
Okay, so that'll be for next turn. There you have it. Let's see. Yes, MeKick being fair. Wasn't okay, so I answered that. Exclamation mark uptime. It's been about I started exactly like 10 o'clock on the dot, so it's been about 7 hours. And dude, yeah. How did Dave end up with resistance on Tazar? Well, I mean, shit happens. Sometimes that's all that you get offered. Now, regarding your... Okay, so this is the thing, Rito. Trying to listen to advice from other people actually is often a recipe for... This is the thing. You think it's legit because you suspect, like, you have this vision, this simulation in your head. You think, like, okay, if MeKick does this, then this is going to be the outcome as a result of that. And the answer is that's not always the case. I've listened to your advice before. Take my word for that. It took me a while, and I have listened to advice from others as well. Even people of higher level gameplay. Like, I've tried to listen to Juanito or Kitsfrick before, and that has really fucked me over. So, you know, as far as shitting on your opinions is concerned, considering how much you sit here and shit talk and BM in chat, I think it's only fair that I get to shit on your opinions. But for you to call them legit, maybe they are legit, but I think I have good reason to not listen to them a lot of the time. That is my personal take on it. Especially with 30 other people throwing this, like, I had to put a stop to it eventually. This notion that, you know, people really thought that, okay, fine, yeah, there are people who do know better than I do, but at the same time, sometimes when I actually try to put what people think I should do into action, it fucks up because I fuck up or something. Shit happens. Morale. I don't know. Yeah, it's just not always a good idea to listen. Who said opinions? I actually don't. Like I said, sometimes if Juanito says it, if Rams usually doesn't give... Well, actually, no, Rams has given advice for challenge maps in the past, but even talking just PvP, like, I don't know. In the past, even people like, I don't know, Dave and... I don't know about Dave, but I think Juanito and Kitsfrick have thrown their 2 cents, and I'm just like, no. I would rather play this out in a way which I feel comfortable with, because even if I don't get the intended outcome, at least I can't blame people for it after, and can you really blame me for that? I don't think so. Yes, I discard most of your... Like, this is the thing. When you come to my stream and you act the way you do, I mean, you get treated the same way that we have the... Like, this is the thing, right? And I think Dave will agree with me on this one. Like, if you're going to sit here and basically be an idiot, then of course I'm going to treat you like an idiot. That's just kind of how it is. If you want to be taken seriously, then you have to be a little bit more serious, but... evidently that has never, or at least for me, my perception is that has never happened, so I have no reason to treat you as anything but an idiot. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. There you have it. Carrying along now, I don't quite... Oh yeah, no, you actually do have just enough movement, it looks like, to reach this Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment.
That's enough.
Yeah, just enough. So here's the thing, though. You don't have a Helm of Heavenly... Yeah, so you don't have a Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment already. And you probably don't have enough spell points to Town Pull back, do you?
No.
Okay, well, damn. Oh well, that's fine. So if this were a real match, it would have been fine. I think you would have actually been in a good position with your main stat. This is the thing that's been bugging me as well about this match, though. Wouldn't you say that this Wyvern Monarch stack is a little bit like... Just Wyvern Monarchs is a bit chumpy, isn't it? Like, normally would an army like be bigger than this at this stage in the game? Would you say that the desert is a bit empty as far as armies are concerned?
Well, there are many taupes and I lost some gorgons, but besides that there was this mini hive and I didn't have a chance to upgrade them yet.
Mm-hmm.
So regarding army, it has been a bit poor. But I mean 40 wyverns is pretty normal army for week 2.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. So all that's left is to, at this point, see what your opponent has on hand. But anyway. Yeah, so I think that's going to be close to the end of your turn. See, this is the thing. On Jebus, you have... I'm not going to call this necessarily a super... Well, this was a bit long, given the circumstances. But, like... Yeah, obviously...
To sum up, I took this hive behind the 3T and the 2 boxes that didn't give much.
Mm-hmm.
I got some fodder, like 20 Cerberi, and Rashka took this taupe with some Gorgon losses. I got the Spellbinder's hat, which is really nice, and 2 more taupes that didn't give anything besides Boots of Speed, but I scouted the +6 soul, so I went for it, of course, like I would in a real match.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 2 more taupes, but they are way off-road, so even if the opponent comes, he probably...
Basically, they have no way to reach it, unless, well...
Unless they are super fast and can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And have DD.
And have DD. But yeah, so overall, a pretty rich desert. There's about 6 taupes. They didn't all collectively build the Angelic Alliance or anything for Dave, but the idea here is by 126, Dave has cleared out the left half of the desert, which is the side that's lined up with his opponent. Now, that's very important to note, by the way, that he chose the left taupes first. I would assume you did this on purpose. Because Dave used View Air early on, actually, even if he had used View Earth, he could probably figure out where his opponent is, because all you need to look for is the zone without resources, basically. But anyway, the thing with View Air earlier is he got a chance to see which side his opponent would be coming from, and he was able to adjust accordingly. Take all the stuff on the side that his opponent is, and then when his opponent comes, he can decide, like, okay, well, I can either fight my opponent now because I have control of the left side of the desert, which is facing my opponent, or I can go to the right side and actually clear out these 2 Dragon Utopias and build up my hero and stats and whatnot some more. So those are always options as well. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So L2TI says there are a lot of people who have in this chat, and then they were shocked when you dismiss or silence them. Kind of, yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, I'm not scared to admit that. Yes, I'm an immature fucking asshole at times. Actually, most of the time I am. But like, but I would like to think this is the big thing, right? I think I'm not using the right word either. There's a difference between being an idiot and being a disrespectful idiot. And being a disrespectful idiot is far worse. Now, I'm going to leave this statement by itself and just let it linger and float around. But yeah, moving along. L2TI says he has all artifacts he needs, if I'm not mistaken. Would this be a misplay when he doesn't empty the other Utopias because he loses units? So, yeah, he's basically saying you have all the artifacts you need. Do you really need to bother trying to grab these other two topes, you might be losing army off of them. Like, does it even make sense to bother with them anymore? And I didn't realize you got Earth Magic on Dazar at last. Like, thank fuck.
Yeah, finally. But to answer that, I do really need the Orb of Inhibition to make sure, because my 2 power stacks can be killed with just Implosion, and I don't have much to protect against that. And there is also the +3 all I can get from top. But other than that, it's true that I have the best artifacts that I could possibly have.
Okay, makes sense. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, by the way, something I wanted to point out quickly. Okay, so you're going for stats, it looks like, and another. I don't know if you're gonna bother with the hive, but yeah. So
They didn't
Dave doesn't
attack.
have. Say what?
The wolves didn't attack. They just moved forward.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Sometimes the AI does that.
Yeah, I don't know what causes them to do that though. Like, I notice they'll only do it if the stack is super huge, but it's not consistent. Like, anyway. Yeah, right. What I was gonna say was that okay, so the thing is, Dave doesn't have wisdom. He doesn't need it because he has Tome of Earth, and well, he doesn't have Tome of Air yet. But then again, he
I
has
have
Spellbinder's
Spellbinder's Hat, yeah. I have
So
every spell that I could need.
yeah, he has every spell that he needs. He's not going to be able to cast Chain Lightning, but I mean, he has Implosion, he has Meteor Shower, he has Town Portal, Dimension Door, and Fly, as well as Slow and presumably Haste. So yeah, and
yeah.
he also has.
I also have some water spells like.
Yeah, he also has a Tome of Water in case he ever wants to cast, who knows, freaking Mass Prayer or some shit. Yeah, no, not bad overall.
Okay, so I'm gonna note something here. I cast Fly because I want to go to these red dragons on the shortest route, and with expert pathfinding, it works as a Angel Wings, even if you don't have air magic. And I cast Fly because I need the +2 speed against the red dragons. Well, actually, I might go for the Cyclops first and try to get Advanced Earth. I'm not sure if I can do that, but it would be nice to have Advanced Resurrection.
Yeah, that probably. Okay, so that's why I was wondering. I'm like, why do you need Advanced Earth? Is it for like shield?
And of course, Town Portal.
But to be honest though, like, aren't you more afraid of the red dragons? Sorry, the Cyclops Kings and the red dragons. Like, with the red dragons, you fight them, and it's like, okay, well, they'll aim at your like 1-stack dragonflies, and you could just one-shot them once each with the Wyvern Monarch. It's a big stack. You even have like Earth Ellies if you want to soak up some hits there too. So why would you go for the Cyclops Kings over the dragons? Like, yeah.
Well, I can block the Cyclops is easier, but I mean it doesn't really matter because I can take both of them without too much losses anyway.
Okay. Alright, so moving along here. Yeah, Tyrannox is saying you need Red Orb really badly. I don't know if I'd agree with that necessarily. The thing is, Dave has 23 spell power, which, I don't know. Well, maybe not as high as it could be, but at the same time, like, I think that's... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe red orbit would actually be helpful in a practical situation. I think it probably would be. Yeah, that's right.
It would definitely be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Cobra says, is this a post-game live comm, also PvP? No, this is... Okay, so the idea here is we're watching Dave play to kind of get a good feel for how he would approach a match if he were the one playing on Jebus. Because a lot of people complain that... well, I assume this is where you got the idea. Oh, wow, it survived. Freaking one red dragon couldn't even kill the dragonfly. But anyway, yeah, I think like a lot of people wanted to actually see Dave actually commentate and say like, okay, well, this is what I think. This is kind of the moves that I'm making, and this is why I'm making them. This is so what Dave settled for is he wants to play, or he. Those are some good losses. Anyway, so the thing is, right, like when Dave is playing a game normally, like if he's playing against a human opponent, of course he's going to give it his best shot. He's not going to focus so much on chat or talking to other people or commentating. He's going to focus on beating his opponent. So this is a chance to actually step away from the, I guess, the gameplay of the PvP Dave and just take a look into the mind of Dave and why he does what he does and just kind of the things that he does, his decision making, blah blah blah, with good old MeKick commentating because I'm freaking awesome. So yeah, that's the idea. It's a game versus AI, but it's kind of meant to somewhat simulate a game against the real player, where like Dave would do what would make these decisions. Is prayer better than haste? Is it only rarely uses? Okay, so the thing with prayer versus haste is it gives +4 attack, it gives +4 defense, it gives +4 speed, which are all really really awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, unless you need expert water for that, and like the thing is, first of all, you need expert water. Second of all, you need a way to get prayer. So if you have a tome of water magic, if you get it from your town, then sure, you're good to go. But like, what, you're gonna burn a secondary skill slot for just for like the chance of getting expert prayer? Because if you're not getting expert prayer from water magic, then your other alternative is get mass bless off of water magic, right? Like that's the main thing that it could really be useful for. Or summon boat. Let's not forget summon boat. But if you went with air magic, obviously you've got DD, fly, and haste, all as potential options. Chain lightning is kind of like chain lightning doesn't really need air magic, but I'm just saying, right? There are a lot more options, or dare I say, a lot more viable options with air magic than there are for water, or at least more practically used. And I'm not trying to say the prayer is weak by any means. It's just usually you don't get the luxury of getting. Oh, hey, look, there's another taupe there. You don't usually get the luxury of having such a nice setup with expert water, with having expert water and expert and prayer all at once. All right, not worth banking on that either. The most important thing is it can't be directly countered by slow. Yeah, that's another thing to consider as well. Out of the days when we could put chat in subscriber only mode / ban everyone in chat, those are some good times. Yeah, still would do it. Kind of rare to get both prayer and expert water in my experience. Yeah, exactly as Cobra pointed out. That's what you're playing. So it wouldn't be a misplay if you would go hunting opponents down and forget about Utopia. Sorry, I'm kind of slow. No, that's okay. This is the whole point of the stream. We want people to ask questions, to genuinely just be like, okay, so why are you doing what you're doing, right? And yeah, so what do you think, Dave? Would it actually make sense to go for your opponent at this stage in the match?
It depends. I probably wouldn't, because
you have control over the desert.
Yes, that's one thing, and another thing to consider is I don't have strong protection against magic. I don't have Recanter's Cloak or Red Orb, or even expert anti-magic. So
and come to think of it, in hindsight, if somebody had something like, worst case scenario, like expert berserk or some shit, then that would really fuck you over. So yeah, Tyrannoxus was right on that one. I'll admit, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Alright. Is it early though for 127? This is pretty fantastic, right? Can't imagine him losing to a real player with those stats at this point in the game. Yeah, 127, this is pretty good. I don't know if it's like, I don't I would imagine that you probably had better games than this, Dave. Probably something like, I don't know.
Well, I did have similar stats 1, 2, 3 in one game. I broke 117 with you.
Actually, come to think of it, whoa, hold on. I've had a game 1, 2, 3 where I understand. It was the game against Krajal. Remember that one? I don't know if you were there for that. The game where he said that stream sniping is not equal to cheating. I remember that was honestly karma at its finest. I had Crag Hack, 33 attack, like it was a broken as shit game. I dare say that was pretty brutal. But yeah, no, 127. This is pretty good, but it's yeah. Some people can. This is the point I'm trying to make on 3 Watcher can certainly have these stats way before 127. Definitely. The prayer is, yeah, it's not a big deal. 12 mana for casting prayer once in the match, like, because your opponent is not going to cast Mass Dispel over your Mass Prayer. That's just not going to happen, I would imagine. But yeah, like, that's totally okay. And like, if you're going final battle against your opponent, unless it's like, you know, 2 SM43 where mana isn't in abundance, you'll be fine. Here in Jebus, you have like, what, 150 to 200 mana, you'll be fine. Like, prayer is not going to take... It's not going to take a super big toll. You're going to be using prayer in final battle probably. If you're using, or if you're going up against watering monsters, you'll probably be going for slow instead. So yeah, the slow units. The other player can come with 10 AA. Yeah. HoMM3 in real game, there could be someone else breaking 1-2-1. Yes, really unlikely. His ability to manner summon boats on desert after GG. Yeah, there's me breaking 2-1-1. Ah. How much money do you think I would have to donate to Hoda Crew for them to make Cove Summon Boat Specialist? Like Eve of Ashes summons 2 boats instead of 1. OP as hell. Yes, on 3 Watcher. Sounds really damn good. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, I got my answer. Thanks. Kind of logic also. All is nice, but army's kind of small and no protection from spells like Tyrannux has pointed out. Yes, so I think this is a similar concern that Dave brought up. The idea, I think, even me saying that, yeah, why is Red Orb necessary? And of course, as is being pointed out by both Tyrannuxus and Dave, yeah, there's a couple reasons, a couple good reasons why you would want to have a Red Orb at this point in the match, and this is probably one of them. Okay, moving along. Long time no see. Hello, DK Xanix, how's it going? Crude Tune is asking, not a Dave-specific question, but if it is a learning stream, I was wondering, if you have a hero who has an unupgraded unit specialty, Lizardmen for example, and you upgrade them, is this specialty also effective for the upgraded units? Yeah, it even says whenever you mouse over and right-click on a hero's specialty, if they specialize in a certain unit, it'll even say basilisks or and greater basilisks, or genies or master genies, or sorry, genies and master genies. Yeah, no, it's even written on the ability. See how it's done? Yep, sounds good. Effects upgraded and not. Hey, Michta, is that how you say your name? Michta, how's it going? Nice to see you. Nice to have you here with us. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, it's only fair that I read this out. Rito's saying that this is pretty bad for 127, actually. I don't quite know. I'm kind of tired of shit-talking him. If you want to say something, you can. I know what I'd say, but I don't know if you want to contribute something instead.
No.
No, you said?
No, I don't feel like.
Yeah, no, I can't blame you. So the thing is, like, okay, and once again, I'm not saying it's the shit on you. It's just like, okay, so because this is the thing, right? This is the thing I realize about Jebus. Sometimes it gives you lots of stats, and sometimes it doesn't. And in Dave's case, he farmed 6 tomes. 6 tomes. You're saying that this is pretty bad for 127. All right. Well, then, like, what are you comparing? First of all, are you comparing this to level 1 hero? Are you comparing this to those games that people play play elsewhere? Are you talking like in general? He should have, like, well, what's pretty bad 127. All right. So then, what else is alternative? Yes. Sometimes you break 121. Sometimes 131. Yes, totally. What I'm trying to say is, all right, so this is bad 127. All right, that's. What do you want us to say there? Like, do you think that there was a better way to go about approaching this start? Do you think that, are you saying that in reference to the fact that the HW players could play this better? I don't know what to say there. Because we're asking questions, how does the game decide in which order do units with equal speed move? Top to down. So if you take a look in Dave's army right now on Christian, or Stannis, or however you want to call him, he has goblins on slot 1, he's got imps on slot 6. So if you start the battle, the goblins will get to go first, and then it'll be followed by the imps, because the imps are on a lower stack. Or I guess you could say on a, they're not... When I say, by the way, slot 1 versus slot 6, I'm talking about like first slot in the army versus last slot. It says the situation is good for 127. Shitty situation, not enough army. Okay, fair enough. Only problem is, like, the main problem here, I would argue, Rito, is that, yes, there is, like, what? There's one dragonfly. Like, this is, if you view the desert, right? There's been a total of about 7, I think, or 8. I lost track. 8 dragon utopias that were explored, and they've cleared out 6 of them. If they were if 3 of them were dragonfly hives, then we wouldn't have this issue. But the fact of the matter is, the desert hasn't given any way for Dave to get more army. I guess, like, the only way he could really get more army is if he, like, started heading east or southeast. Which is what he's about to do right now, but would you not say that it's more important to actually bar out your opponent's options by clearing out the 4 topes on the left side of the map before trying to go east and then have all the time in the world to actually farm all that shit out? Like, it's kind of odd, right? Like, it's true. I mean, he doesn't have 60 wyverns, he doesn't have 80 wyverns or anything like that. No army of archangels, but for what it's worth, like, what else could really be done here? And would those options be better than what Dave has done? Like, imagine if you were on blue side, right? You might have attacked 125, or at least you might have attacked 126, and by that point, if there's still, like, Dragon Utopias top left and bottom right, then you actually have options. But here, now Dave can take all the time in the world to farm the right side of the map before finishing off his opponent. I think that's fine, personally. So yes, if it was a real versus a real of desert, so most of these things wouldn't be yours. Yes. This is missing a game-changing. Oh, you're talking about Red Orb, I'd imagine. Navigation. Yes, yes. Tyrannuxus. Once again, we have navigation ballistics. Typical. No, Horde, I don't quite think that we're going to be setting up random map challenges for Dave, like in my streams, or in my YouTube channel. Go Red Orb of no balls! Yeah, no, for sure. With Arties, anyone could be a main hero. Yeah, that's another thing, too. Anybody can be a main hero with those Arties. Or, well, not anyone can be a main hero, but basically people can do whatever the frick they feel like with these Arties. Yeah. Hey, Danix, how's it going? Heravold is asking a question here. When you're fighting a neutral camp, what is the scheme of bots attacking? Like, here they only go for 1 stacks. Alright. 99.9999% of the time, okay? If they can reach like, if they have 1 creature, or if there's, like, 1 creature that they can hit, okay, even that's a bit of a lie. If it's, like, not a Hydra, or a magic or psychic elemental, most of the time they will target whatever, they will hit whatever unit that they can get their hands on. So if you get, like, a 1-stack Dragonfly and you send it over to the other side of the map where the AI is, the AI will try to directly attack the Dragonfly, because that's the only thing that they can hit. When there are multiple targets that an AI can hit, it becomes a bit more complicated, and it differs based off of a number of different things that I wouldn't be able to answer all in one 2-minute explanation. But usually, as far as one stacks are concerned, you use the one stacks to kind of get the AI to go for that one stack. There are some rare occasions where the AI will magically decide, no, I don't want to hit that one stack. I want to go for, I want to actually go in the opposite direction and try to hit the human player's power stack or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, most of the time they'll go for the one stack if that's the only thing that they can reach, Harival. So that's usually what's being taken advantage of. But yeah, once again, right, like, once again, I think this is what it boils down to. I can kind of see where mainly Tyrannuxus and I hate to say this, but Tyrannuxus and Rito are coming from. Like, still at this point, there's no red orb, and we are still looking for army. And the desert has... This is the thing. It's nice that there's like 8 different Dragon Utopias in the desert. That's all fine and dandy. But you know, army would probably be a lot more useful to Dave right about now. I would think that you would agree to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, having actually having a proper army would make a lot more sense in this situation. Well, okay, no, sorry. The thing is, 44 Wyvern Monarchs is an army, but oh my, there is a dungeon town there. But of course, you probably won't be able to reach it. Actually, you might be able to. And nope, opting to town portal back to your starting town. So, to have desert all for you until 127 is cut. Yeah, so that is a good point as well. It is unlikely to assume a lot of the time that the desert is available. Probably the main issue with this match that we've set up here. But at the same time, it's nice to actually kind of see like how to, well, one, how to break into the desert, and two, how to approach taking the desert and grabbing all the things in it. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of unknowns. Of course, if there were a human player, it would probably be a little bit more complicated than just, like I'm gonna have all the time in the world to farm the desert. But yeah, given the circumstances, this is what we've got so far. All right. This desert was really bad for red. If blue breaks 121 to 123, it's over. Yeah, that's another thing too. We'd have to see blue side. Although, yeah, theoretically, yeah, it's clearing out west side of the map is pretty light. Because it was like, well, 125. 125 at this area. Yeah, so once again, if you guys want to analyze it like that, by all means. Once again, though, this is more meant to be the... I'm going to try to focus more on the educational aspect. I'll go with that. There aren't things like Earth Tome, Spellbinder's Hat still relevant, though. Obviously, Red Orb would be game over, but still, I don't know if I'd go as far... The thing is, Red Orb is not a game over artifact in this case. It's more of like making sure that your opponent is completely fuck you with... even Blind. For example, like that. Well, okay, that blind wouldn't be so bad because Dave has Mass Cure, but like, yeah, you know, you never know what kind of ridiculous spells your opponent will throw at you. You really want to be prepared for those. That's the big deal. Yeah, in PvP you can use combination artifacts with the exception of Cloak of the Undead King, which does have a restriction. This restriction being that you can't. What was it? The restriction is that you can't actually... You can only farm skeletons with them. You can't actually farm liches, or zombies, or whites, or some shit. Yeah. So going back to Karakota, Earth Tome... Yeah, so Earth Book, Spellbinder's Hat are obviously quite relevant, which are nice. So that's the big thing here. Dave does have full control off of these artifacts. That's really useful. But at this point, what Dave needs... or what Dave needs the most is, one, army, and two... a red orb, because once again, he has no protection from an opponent who might have, let's say, I don't know, 30 spell-powered implosion, or like, I don't know, expert fire berserk or something like that. That would be pretty problematic. If his opponent was playing like Castle with an AA army, then, well, once again, right, like, there are a lot of things that could happen for sure if he ran into an opponent. And of course, yeah, Dave is making use of Tome of Earth, Spellbinder's Hat, blah blah blah, but yeah, still much more to be had. Game over is yes, exactly, Karakota. Destructio says expert quicksand, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty much everything, right? 1A plus Arma with 30 SP and GG. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, yeah, that's the thing. And I think I did this in, well, actually I don't want to spoil, but yeah, no, for sure. Like if you're going up against an opponent who for example has, let's say, a gold dragon. A gold dragon could do this. Just bring in a gold dragon with Orb of Tempestuous Fire and Tome of Fire Magic, and you could actually or most of the army here, because they have no resistance to any of that, right? They have no resistance to an Armageddon. If it were like Implosion, you could even go like throw an Implosion at the Wyvern Monarch stack. Yeah, like the spells are a really tricky thing in this game, for sure. And Red Orb does help prevent against that. That's why it's so sought after. Expert Minefield to spice it up, says Cobra. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. One gold dragon and get in strat sounds like Geodude. Ha! Ah, Geodude. Stupid Geodude. And yeah, funny enough, yeah, that was something that did happen in Geodude, sadly. So, all right, moving along here. So yeah, so the army. So basically, what's been happening in the last couple of minutes while I've been talking, beyond the strategies, or at least the kind of like the big picture, as I like to call it. So this is the thing. Yeah, so Dave got Tazar to go back to his main town at the end of last turn. Okay, so that in itself, it's a pretty obvious play. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's a fairly obvious why he did that, I would like to think. He wanted to keep his main hero safe, and actually at the same time give him the max amount of movement possible, and also give him the maximum amount of spell points, or at least refill his spell point pool. Because of course this turn he's going to be doing a lot more. If he doesn't have access to spell points, if he doesn't have as much, well, maximum amount of movement possible, then obviously that'll slow him down by quite a bit. By keeping Tazar in his main town off of the town portal that he got from Expert Earth Magic and the Tome of Earth, he was able to move into his main town and also keep his hero safe, which is good. At the same time, allowing him to recuperate, right? And now here, we'll see now what the plan is. As you can see, the armies have been merged. He still has the double building going, or the double wyvern nest going on in his two fortress towns. And yeah, he actually managed to merge his armies. He cleared out like what, 2 Dragonfly Hives between this turn and last, or 3 Dragonfly Hives. I don't remember. Along with the wyverns from both towns, that totals them up to about an extra like what, 10, 15, 20 wivs. I think it's like 20. An extra about 20 wyverns. Like I think last. Oh no, it's more than 20 actually, because last week he had like 36. Or I think 127 last week he had about 36. So in the meantime, he's actually amassed quite a few more. So 131's kicking it off with 68 Wyvern Monarchs. Still a shortage of Red Orb, as well as Armor of Wanderer and Celestial Necklace of Bliss. Thus is the fate of RNG. I think we can all agree. But yeah. In fact, if he did have a Red Orb, he could probably take that fight against Fairy Dragons, and it would be easy peasy, no problem. So. Versus Trogs, 0 out of 10 would cast, yes. Is it really fair to believe this will be... Yeah, well... Yeah, at this point, where do you want to call it a stopping point, Dave?
I think when I'm done with this turn.
Probably when you're done with this turn, yeah. Yeah, so once again, Rams has a good point. At this point, like, this is also why I try to, in the past when I do my practice runs, I play mainly up until the break. The thing with this match that we're seeing here, there is a lot of unknowns for sure. Oh, by the way, any chance we could take a look at the Blues side as well? you're done?
Yeah.
All right, awesome, thanks. But yeah, no, like, obviously, there, like, once you make it in the desert, your opponent can come and cause problems for you. Your opponent could, anyway, like, there's a lot of shit that can happen, obviously. So, yeah, probably calling it quits here is a good idea, especially because it's almost time for some Modern Warfare 2. Ding. Heravold says, why did Dave pick tactics over finances on a secondary hero? I know money isn't a big problem right now, but still. Okay, so a couple things. You've answered your own question for one, and also two, like, first of all, having an extra 150 gold per turn when Dave has about 63,000, I think it's safe to say that having tactics is more useful in this case. Because the thing is, if you've been kind of watching the last little while, he's not just taking fights with Tazar, he's taking fights with all of the heroes that he has available to him. He's using Manair, he's using Grindin, he's using the stupid fish, what's his name, Lakis. Even Braun, I think, got some level ups. The idea is, if you're playing a match, you need to have heroes who can adequately clear as much of the area as possible. Like, yeah, like, these fights are being done with Tazar, his main hero right now, but, like, if he had, like, a level 1 dumpster hero with, you know, with no tactics, or let's say if it was a hero who had a choice between, like, it's kind of like asking, all right, well, if you have a side hero, why wouldn't you take expert estates? Let's amp it up a little bit. Like, if it were, like, let's say expert estates versus expert earth or something like that, then of course you'd want the hero to have expert earth. You could actually turn them into a side. Oh, and there's the morale, but they went straight for the null, so whatever. Anyway, so the idea is, like, you want to have heroes. You want to have heroes or side heroes who can clear out more than just like, well, first of all, you want heroes who can clear out more fights, and you want heroes who can do these fights with fewer losses, because it's important to still preserve your army while you're taking these losses or taking these fights with your lesser heroes, right? And the States obviously isn't going to help you do that. Like, if you are playing a match where you're in dire need of gold, like, and there's like nothing on your map, then maybe, but here in this case, what matters the most is actually having heroes who have more options available to them. Imagine if you had, like, a hero with expert error and the spellbinders had and a good amount of mana, who's not your main, then of course you could totally use them to, like, DD a couple times on the map, clear out more shit. Those are all potential options. I hope my explanation makes sense. I'm trying to reason this out a little bit, but 10 bears doing 400 damage to gnolls, yeah. Well, there you have it. They do get to ignore the defense skill of those gnolls, but they don't get to ignore they don't actually get to ignore the armor and armor specialty that Tazar has. Also notice there how Dave opted to use prayer as his spell. Oh, and there's the red orb. But yeah, so I mean, once again, right? What was I saying? Oh yeah, he opted to use prayer as a way to speed up his units to reduce losses, so there's that. Got Earth Magic last, classic Tazar. Hey, at least he got Earth Magic. Come on. That fish had a family, yes. Rip Lakis. Yeah. We're all Topes pack. Well, pretty much. But then again, you gotta consider Dragon Utopias are like, what? 10% chance that it'll be maxi. So, I mean, it's not surprising to see that none of these Topes are maxi. In fact, I actually think, didn't you do one maxi taupe at some point? Did you not?
It was lots, but not maxi.
Okay, gotcha. One devil killed a green dragon, yeah. Yeah, 131 looking good. Well, now that we actually have red orb, it's a little bit better. Once again, I think the big thing here... I see. So, very interesting decision there. Dave decided, or actually, instead of taking the red orb, you moved... Oh, no, you did take the red orb. Sorry, my bad. Oh, okay. So you had just enough movement to take the red orb and return back, so just enough.
Yeah.
Very nice. So there you guys have it. I'm presuming, are you doing anything else this turn, or is that it for you?
I think that's it. We can wrap it up like in unleashing the butters, they picked up the red orb and game is over.
Yeah, well, so there you guys have it. Dope can be lots and not maxi. Sorry, my bad. You're right. My mistake. Right, it can be lots of as opposed to just pack. I thought we were talking about. Yeah, no, my bad. I thought I just automatically assumed when you were talking about pack that we were talking about a maxi taupe because that's the only one with several. But yeah, whatever. Oh, here we go. Slaughter mode. Oh no, not slaughter mode. You're just endlessly see what is the matrix thing, so you can see what their start looked like. So very interesting map generation. It does look like blue player had a road into one of the other zones, interestingly enough. There was a Celestial Necklace of Bliss. There were 3 cons. It was a Rampart player, so indeed it would not have been AAs. It probably would have been a Gold Dragon if indeed an Armageddon did ever show up. Yeah, a taupe and a Tome of Air Magic. Yeah, no. See, this is the... and I think this is... I wouldn't even necessarily call it a criticism, but so the thing with this setup to consider is like, yeah, if it ever were a real player, then yes, indeed, probably the fight into the middle of the desert probably would have been a lot more difficult. But for what it's worth, I think we got a nice educational session, and I'm willing to leave it on that. I was quite happy with the way it turned out. I think, Dave, you probably were too. I could be wrong, but...
Well, I mean, this grass area was pretty much perfect because there's a Tome of Air and +3 all on the ground, and Earth Dwelling and 4 hives and 2 cons all next to the road. And
even a Ring of the Wayfarer and Equestrian Glove just on the side, perfect.
and also Sentinel Shield on the ground and double Rampart.
It's funny because with the Armor of Wonder and the Celestial Necklace of Bliss just northwest, I think you could have actually built the Angelic Alliance, but anyway.
So if this were against real... And there's Titan's Gladius on the ground also. What the fuck? I've never seen more than 2 relics on the ground in the same starting zone.
Actually, I did earlier today. I was playing against Mikkel, and I had the Celestial Necklace of Bliss and Sword of Judgment, both in the same area.
There's gloves, some more hives, and 2 unicorn dwellings. So basically, I would have been fucked. Even the guard is Chaos Hydras, so it's super easy. And a decent opponent would have picked up the Tome of Earth.
Tome of Air, you mean?
The Earth that was...
Oh yeah, because it was right there. Okay, I see. But yeah,
but this is Jebus for you. I mean, I could play perfect, pixel perfect, and the opponent gets this area and beats me with no chance. So this is why I hate this template. I mean,
there you guys have it. So
I mean, I'm not saying I played it perfectly, but there's not much I could do in a situation like this. I could break 1-2-2, maybe, but I would have to leave the toes behind, and I still wouldn't be faster than the opponent.
it's funny because Rams is also pointing out this is why you farm your zone. Actually, as it turns out, Rams, I think Dave pretty much did farm his zone. You took pretty much everything of value in your starting zone, didn't you? There were 2 taupes, 4 hives, 1 wyvern nest, and you took and even a gorgon lair, and you took out pretty much all of them, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave cleaned out his zone. It was time to move on to the desert. By 1, 2, 3, but yeah, he did. I had no complaints. Just pointing that out. Fair enough. But yeah, so that's been that. Once again, that is the... And well, I just want to give that reminder that indeed, yeah, so this was supposed to be a fairly educational session with the without having a freaking human opponent on the other side being all like, I'm ready to go kick your ass on 1-2-1 or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there you guys have it. If Jebus played from Dave's perspective with a bit of commentary and a bit of insight on the decision-making process, so it's not just a match where, you guys got to listen to awesome music, but for some reason wanted to listen to Dave talk while listening to him or watching him play or something. I don't know. So yeah, thank you for the match, Dave. I think it was a pretty fun arrangement overall. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching, everyone.
Is there anything else you wanted to say, Dave? Or if not, then yeah. If not, then I'll I guess head off, wrap it up, and then we can get on started on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, sounds good. I will see you in a bit. So let's just close this down, and I'm going to pop out of it.
Okay, so to my stream, I'll say goodbye and see you the next time. This is where Rams should pop in.
Obudo! I waited until you said it on your stream.